Well, I want to put something out to people just as a question. It may be, the answer may be yes. Is Florida one of the best bug out prepper places in the United States? Probably. Well, for one thing, you don't have to worry about hanging out in your cave all the time because the weather is always sunny and you can enjoy the beautiful sunshine most of the year. And actually, as of we speak, December 21st, I believe, 2013, it is about 80 degrees out and mostly sunny. An unusually warm day, but what the hell? That's okay. You know, it happens in the wintertime here, you know, the first day of winter. Now, the things that Florida actually has going for it, now it depends on what part of Florida too, if you consider it a bug out place. Now, coastal areas and city areas are nice to live in, but I want to consider them the bug out prepper ideal places because, you know, I see there's this, you know, what do preppers prep for? You know, catastrophic collapse. You know, I guess the biggest problem would be collapse of the electrical grid. You know, if there's like I don't know, a cosmic, you know, asteroid that goes close to the Earth and it blows out all the transformers. I don't know, something like that or whatever. You know, you don't want to be in a major populated area. That's one thing, but you don't want to be in the middle of nowhere too. Now, there's actually parts of Florida that are quite a bit above sea level. Now, there's no mountains over here, that's for sure, but there are places that are 100 feet or more above sea level. Like, you know, I've seen on the internet where they say one big wave and the whole state's covered. Actually, that's not true. If you're like a good 100, if you're 100 and something feet above sea level, if there's this catastrophic problem in the Atlantic Ocean, you know, this is what preppers worry about a lot, you know. I don't dwell upon it, but I just want to point out that Florida could be one of the cool places to be to bug out to. And you can enjoy the sunshine too. You know, it's like actually I'm like working for the state here, right? You know, pumping up more industry, whatever I'm doing here. But anyway, I'm not. But you know, that's one of the things that people talk about. You know, if their ice caps melt, the cities would be underwater. Florida, actually, a lot of Florida would not be underwater. Actually, New York City would be underwater before Ivor would be, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., you know, Savannah, Georgia, you know, a lot of places like that would be underwater because there are parts of Florida that are quite a bit above sea level. Now, I don't want to dwell on that too much because I think that's pretty damn unrealistic to say the least. But if there's like this catastrophic problem where, I don't know, you know, I guess the only thing that could actually be a catastrophic problem would be the event of a major conflict sometime, and you know, major cities would be targeted. Florida wouldn't be one of those major cities unless you guess you're talking down South Florida, but Central Florida, North Central Florida and stuff, probably not because there's not much over here. But the other thing is, you know, this is a lot of things that people have to worry about, like if they're, you know, they say they bug out to the Rocky Mountains or something like that, they bug out to the Appalachian Mountains. One thing they got to worry about is cold. And you need a lot of firewood and you need a lot of, you know, you can freeze your ass off. You don't even have to freeze. You can die of hypothermia pretty easily. It's very easy to happen. And, you know, that can happen in Florida too because it does get a little bit cold here sometimes, but the thing is, you have to deal with that a lot less. So that's one thing that's major on the side of Florida, not dealing with the cold. The other thing is, there's plenty of water. You know, there's a lot of places that preppers and survivors go out to the desert, but the big problem is water. There's loads of water in Florida. I mean, if you're just catching rainfall, God, there's plenty of water. It's easy to... The water table isn't that low. There's a large aquifer going through the state and everything like that. There's plenty of fresh water. And the growing season is basically all year long. So you got a lot going for the state of Florida for, like, you know, to be in a bug out place. But, you know, at the same time, you know, actually, to tell you the truth, I think over here is one of the, it's not perfect, but it's probably one of the more safer areas in the country if there's a catastrophic problem someplace or sometime. Because if, you know, they say, you know, something happened or whatever, you know, there's too much going for the state of Florida. Like, there's a lot of sunshine, there's a lot of warmth, there's still quite a bit of rainfall, there's a lot of fresh water areas. There's a lot of wildlife and stuff like that, and it's like it's a state that actually, if somebody was to actually have to bug out and survive, like going back to 101 all the way, it would be one of the better states to be. Now, if there ever was a catastrophic economic problem, it probably would be a lot easier to convince the Florida state legislators to grow industrial hemp. Now, this is Florida and Central Florida is kind of like still in this. It's more like the Southern Bible Belt, and for the most part, and they have, in my opinion, anyway, from what I understand, they talk, you talk about medicinal marijuana. It's like illegal here, right? That's fine, whatever. I don't agree with that, but it's something. But I think medicinal marijuana oil could be a major cancer healer and stuff. Yeah, I know, but all those facts about that, and Rick Simpson's Run from the Cure. But even if you looked at industrial hemp, which contains no THC at all, there's no drug in it. Florida could be the actual powerhouse industrial hemp growers of the nation. There's like an all-around year. There's all year you can grow this stuff. It's warm enough in most places. There's plenty of land. For another thing, there's plenty of open space. Even though, because where Florida is actually populated, it's all along the coastal cities mainly. Inland Florida, there's loads of space to be growing industrial hemp. There's plenty of natural rainfall. There's plenty of natural sunlight, and it's warm enough pretty much all year. They could probably grow 3 crops a year with industrial hemp, and Florida could actually be the powerhouse in the whole nation of growing industrial hemp, and which would supply a lot of hemp oil and hempoline, gasoline. So actually, the state of Florida could be totally sufficient energy-wise, and not even need OPEC or anything else, or even need the rest of the country for that matter, just by growing this product. Unfortunately, I don't know what the deal is, but it seems like, well, let me put it to you this way. The devils on the top are in the oil industry, and somehow or another they have the Christian right hoodwinked into believing that industrial hemp is a bad thing. That's a fact. That's the way I look at it. But not industrial hemp actually is God's plan, and it will save. You're doing. I have to put it this way: you'd be doing the Lord's work if you're planting industrial hemp. Just like it used to be the law to do that. It used to be a law, a requirement, even in the 1760s in the state of Virginia, that everybody had to grow hemp, industrial hemp. So I'd have to compromise down that, because we are in Florida's actually sort of like the Bible Belt still, but the fact that there's such a large growing season, and the fact that hemp can be grown easily here as for food and energy and materials, and the fact that it's like you don't need to accumulate stuck piles and piles and piles of firewood just to survive the winter, and you have plenty of rainfall, unlike in the desert, and you're still high up above sea level, where if there's a wave from the ocean, you're not going to have a problem, because a lot of parts of Florida actually are pretty high up above sea level. It's actually probably one of the most ideal places to be a prepper and survivor. Now, I don't dwell upon this, but I do know there's some aspects to the state that a lot of people overlook. And they say, yeah, they got to go out to the Rocky Mountains because of this, and they got to go out to north part of Nevada, or into Colorado, or something like that, or Appalachian Hills, but there's a lot of disadvantages to that. For one, it's water is one. If you're out in Nevada, in a lot of places, cold is another thing, big time. And accessibility to even how good the land is for growing crops. Now, Florida's kind of has sandy soil, but it can still grow a lot of stuff. So, a lot of people aren't thinking of this state as one of the best places there is. But, at the same time, in the state of Florida, you don't have to be hunkered down in your cave like you might have to be somewhere else, man. You can be out there in the sunshine and enjoying things. The other thing is, since it's warm, you have a two-wheeled which is motorcycle and bicycle, a two-wheeled season all year round. You can ride your motorcycle or bicycle all year round. You know, it might get down to 40 degrees max, and that's at nighttime. Even the cold days are like 55 and sunny. So you could pretty much use that. That's a big, you know, a saver on gasoline if you're actually, you know, if there's like, you know, major problems and stuff like that. So Florida actually is one of the better places to be. And a lot of people aren't thinking of that, so that are preppers. You know, not that I'm trying to get a gazillion people down here. You know, I don't work for the tourist industry or something, but a lot of people have ignored this state as being a pretty good place to be if there is a, you know, some widespread catastrophic problem. Now, hopefully, if there ever was, not that I hope there's a widespread catastrophic problem, but, you know, if that happened, if that happens first, and that, you know, there's nothing you can do about it, hopefully the state legislature would allow all people in Florida to grow industrial hemp. Because, you know, I'm looking at that product like it's far better than crude oil all the way. And the state of Florida probably has it best for like water, sunshine, and temperature to grow many crops of that per year. Many crops of that per year. As a matter of fact, Florida could actually be a big material and energy supplier for the rest of the country. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like the devils have convinced the religious right that's evil. And, you know, it's like the religious right has to go with what God said. God said, you know, grow industrial hemp. There's no drug in that stuff. You know, and I'm not going to argue about the, you know, the benefits of THC because I'd have to leave that off the table completely. It's just a freaking plant. There's no drug in it. There's nothing in it. There's nothing that gets you high. Because, you know, once you mention something about getting high, you're not gonna get to step one. You're not gonna get to step one. But that's that, you know, hemp. Oh, I just have to throw out this fact: hemp produces 10 times the amount of gasoline than corn. 10 times, 10 times. And also, Rudolph Diesel intended his diesel engine to run on hemp oil. So, Florida has the #1 place to grow this stuff, so you figure it out. Anyway, this could be one of the best survivable prepper states going. And, you know, a lot of the state is over 100 feet above sea level, so, you know, I don't know. All these freaking theories out there, you know, Atlantis is going to come up from the ocean, it's going to flood the coastal United States. I don't know. If it does, a lot of parts of Florida are probably going to survive anyway if you're in the right spot. So, anyway, it's a pretty good survival prepper state, but it's like it has the advantages, but, you know, it's not something that you really, I don't dwell upon it. You know, I don't dwell upon it. But I realized, you know, when I thought about it, actually, Florida actually is one of the better states to be if there was a problem. You know? I mean, if there's no electricity, you had nothing, no heat or nothing like that, just the place to be, believe me. If there's no water, there's a lot of rainfall over here. It's the place to be. So, it's not bad. A lot of people have ignored this. So, you know, heads up for Florida, right?